hope you have noticed this mistake. If not, then listen to my words carefully. I'm transferring this knowledge to you. My Bluetooth is on. Keep the Bluetooth of your mind on so that I can transfer this message to you. Hello, my esteemed brothers and sisters and fellow language enthusiasts. Today, we will address a topic that is near and dear to all of us, the art of effective communication in the English language. Language is the bridge that connects us, enabling the exchange of thoughts, ideas, and emotions. However, as with any skill, mastering the English language requires constant effort, practice, and a willingness to learn from our mistakes. We have all experienced moments when we stumbled over our words, struggled to find the right phrase, or inadvertently misused a word. These moments are not to be feared or avoided, but rather embraced as opportunities for growth. It is through our mistakes that we learn, adapt, and ultimately become better communicators. Remember, the goal here is not to be perfect, but to continuously improve and grow. Embrace your mistakes as valuable lessons that pave the way to better communication. Seek feedback from others, practice diligently, and engage in meaningful conversations to refine your language skills. Let us approach the English language with a sense of curiosity, humility, and the willingness to learn from our mistakes, or I would say errors. By doing so, we not only enhance our own ability to communicate, but we also contribute to a world where understanding and connection thrive. In this park, there are many quotes written on the boards. I was walking and enjoying reading those quotes. I was getting inspired, but I observed some grammatical mistakes in the quotes. So I decided to make a video to learn together from those mistakes. Please don't misunderstand me. I am not here to find a fault in the owner of those quotes and whoever has written them. It is just a mistake. Anybody can make such mistakes. Making errors is a human tendency. I am not here to point out the mistakes in the quote's message. But we should get motivated by these wonderful quotes given by great personalities. They gave us these quotes based on their personal experience. So in this video, apart from getting inspired by the quotes, we will learn English from the mistakes inadvertently made in the quotes. I also want to bring up a point here that we should observe carefully whatever we read, see, or listen to, the way I did in this park. I hope you also would do the same way wherever you go, whatever you do. So let's delve into some common mistakes that we all can learn from. The first one is success is when your signature becomes autograph. Now, do you find any mistakes over here? Do you find? I think no. But I find one mistake over here. But what is that mistake? That mistake is over here. Becomes autograph. It should not be becomes autograph. It should be becomes an autograph. But why should it be becomes an autograph? It should be becomes an autograph because here autograph is a countable noun, and generally we use any article like an, a, or the before countable nouns. So here autograph is a countable noun. So it should be becomes an autograph. Becomes an autograph. So it should be success is when your signature becomes an autograph. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The second quote is confidence and hard work is the best medicine to kill the disease called failure. It will make you a successful person. Now here, do you find any mistake? I find two mistakes over here. But what are the two mistakes? The two mistakes. Now see, the first mistake is here. Confidence and hard work is the best medicine? Should it be is the best medicine? I don't think so. It should be are the best medicines. But why should it be are the best medicines? Because here there are two subjects, confidence and hard work. Confidence and hard work. So the auxiliary verb are is supposed to be used instead of is. You know, auxiliary verbs should be according to the subject, or I would say auxiliary verbs should agree with the subject. So it should be confidence and hard work are the best medicines to kill the disease called failure. It will make you successful person. Huh? It will make you successful person. Do you think this is right? No, I don't think so. The correct sentence would be, it will make you a successful person. But why should the article a should be used here? Let me tell you. The article a should be used here because here person. Person is a countable noun. So article a should be used. But now you may argue that we do not use articles before adjectives, and here successful is the adjective. But let me tell you, here the article a should not be used for successful, it should be used for person. Here the article here should be used for person, not successful, which is an adjective. So it should be confidence and hard work are the best medicine to kill a disease called failure. It will make you a successful person. It will make you a successful person. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, dreams are not those which comes while we are sleeping, but dreams are those when you don't sleep before fulfilling them. Now here, do you find any mistake? Because I find one mistake over here. But what is that mistake? That mistake is comes. It should not be comes, it should be come. It should be come. But why should it be come and not comes? Let me tell you that part. It should be come but not comes, because the verb should agree with the subject, or I would say the verb should be according to the subject. Here the subject is dreams and the verb is comes. So here the verb is not agreeing with the subject. So here it should not be comes, it should be come. It should be come. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, courage is most important of all the virtues, because without courage you cannot practice any other virtue consistently. Do you find any mistakes over here? I find two mistakes over here. But what are those two mistakes? Let me tell you. So here the first mistake is over here. Courage is most important. Do you think this is correct? No, I don't think so. The correct thing would be, courage is the most important, because here most is in superlative degree and we always use the article the before superlative degree. So here it should be, courage is the most important. So it should be, courage is the most important of all the virtues. The virtues? Do you think this is correct? No, I don't think so. Here the article the should be omitted or avoided. We all know that we do not use any article before abstract nouns in a general sense. In a general sense, we do not use any article before abstract nouns. So here also the article the should be omitted or avoided. And the second reason why this article the should not be used here is because they are talking about virtues, they are not talking about any specific ones. So here the article the should be omitted or avoided. I hope you got it. So now, what is the correct sentence, or I would say what is the correct quote? The correct quote is, courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage you cannot practice any other virtue consistently. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. Have an aim in life. Continuously acquire knowledge. Work hard and have perseverance to realize the great life. Here, do you find any mistakes? I find two mistakes over here. So let me tell you. The first mistake is over here. And have perseverance. Perseverance. And have perseverance. Do you think this is correct? No, I don't think so. So the correct thing would be, and have the perseverance. It should be the perseverance. Now, you might be wondering, in a general sense, we do not use any article before abstract nouns, and here perseverance is an abstract noun. So, why should I use the article the before this abstract noun perseverance? Let me tell you. In a general sense, we do not use any article before abstract nouns, but when the abstract noun is followed by to infinitive, then we should use the article the before the abstract noun. So here the abstract noun perseverance is followed by to infinitive. So here the article the should be used. So it should be and have the perseverance to realize the great life. The great life? Do you think this is correct? No, I don't think so. So the correct thing would be to realize a great life. Now see, here life is an abstract noun and great is an adjective. Now you might be wondering, here life is an abstract noun. So why are you telling me to use an article a before this abstract noun? Let me tell you. See, in a general sense, we do not use any article before abstract nouns. But when they are quantified or qualified in the context, then we can use any article like an or the. So here, these abstract nouns are qualified or quantified by adjectives. Like I can say a new attachment, a great life, a new attachment, and we can also quantify or qualify it by a clause. Like I can say the attachment that we have, the attachment that we have. So here the adjective is great and the abstract noun is life, and this life, which is an abstract noun, is quantified by the adjective great. So we should use the article a. So it should be to realize a great life. So the correct quote would be, never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. Have an aim in life. Now see, here, have an aim in life. Now, here there is no article before life. You know why? Because here, this life is not quantified or qualified in context by anything like clause, adjective or anything. So, here any kind of article should not be used. So, this is correct. Have an aim in life. I hope you got it. So, the correct quote would be, never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. Have an aim in life. Continuously acquire knowledge. Work hard and have the perseverance to realize a great life. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, if you salute your duty, you no need to salute anybody. But if you pollute your duty, you have to salute everybody. Now here, do you find any mistake? I find one mistake over here. But what is that mistake? See, you no need. This is the wrong thing. You know what should it be? You know why is this thing wrong? Let me tell you. As you know, every clause needs a subject and a verb. Every clause needs a subject and a verb. Now here the subject is you and the verb is need. The subject is you and the verb is need. Sorry. The subject is you and the verb is need. And as this is a negative sentence, the auxiliary verb do should be used. And it should not be no, it should be not. You do not need. The auxiliary verb do should be used, and instead of no, it should be not. You do not need to. Now listen to me. So the correct quote would be, if you salute your duty, you do not need to salute anybody. But if you pollute your duty, you have to salute everybody. I hope you got it. For example, I can say, I've been running for a long time now. No, this is the wrong sentence. The correct sentence is, I have been running for a long time now. I have been running for a long time now. Let's take another example. Now, this novel written by me. This novel written by me. This is the wrong sentence. The correct sentence is, this novel is written by me. This novel is written by me. Let's take another example. you an excellent job yesterday by subscribing to my channel. You an excellent job yesterday by subscribing to my channel. You an excellent job yesterday by subscribing to my channel. So the wrong sentence. The correct sentence is you did an excellent job yesterday by subscribing to my channel. Now let's move to the next quote. And I hope you got it. The next quote is, unless India stands up to the world, no one will respect us. In this world, fear has no place. Only strength respects strength. Now here, do you find any mistake? I find 2 mistakes over here. But what are those mistakes? Now see, the first mistake is that here there should be comma, because in this world, this is an introductory sentence. No, it's not an introductory sentence. This is introductory phrase. I hope you find this mistake. If not, then keep the Bluetooth of your mind on. I tell you this thing once again. Please keep the Bluetooth of your mind on. And listen to me carefully so that I can transfer this message to you. Now here there should be comma because this is an introductory phrase. So there should be comma over here. You know, introductory phrase, word or clause sets the stage of a sentence, and it should always be followed by a comma. It should be followed by a comma. So here there should be comma. And the second mistake is that here there should be comma. You know why here there should be comma? Here there should be comma because here there are 2 clauses. And these 2 clauses are not mixed, they need to be separated, and to separate them a comma should be used. So here there should be comma. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, you cannot change your future, but you can change your habits, and surely your habits will change your future. Do you find any mistakes over here? I find 2 mistakes over here. Let me tell you. Now see, here but should be preceded by a comma, and should also be preceded by a comma. You know why? Because here but and are coordinating conjunctions, that too in a compound sentence. They are coordinating conjunctions in a compound sentence. You know what is a compound sentence? A compound sentence contains 2 independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction, and generally these coordinating conjunctions are preceded by a comma. So here before but, or I would say but should be preceded by a comma, and should also be preceded by a comma. So the correct sentence would be, you cannot change your future, and here comma, but you can change your habits, here comma, and surely your habits will change your future. I hope you got it. Now let's move ahead to the next quote. The next quote is, life and time are the world's best teachers. Life teaches us to make good use of time, and time teaches us the value of life. Now here, do you find any mistake? I find 1 mistake over here. But what is that mistake? That mistake is over here. Now here, and should be preceded by a comma. But why should and be preceded by a comma? Let me tell you, because here and is a coordinating conjunction in a compound sentence, and in a compound sentence there are 2 independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. And coordinating conjunctions are preceded by a comma. So here and should be preceded by a comma. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, to achieve any success, you have to first control your sense, and when this is combined with vision, you can achieve any goal. Now here, do you find any mistake? I find 2 mistakes over here. Now let's see, what are those 2 mistakes? The first mistake is over here. Here and should be preceded by a comma. You know why? As I have already explained that here and is a coordinating conjunction, that too in a compound sentence. A compound sentence is a sentence in which there are 2 independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. And generally these coordinating conjunctions are preceded by a comma. They are preceded by a comma. So here before and there should be comma, means and should be preceded by comma. So here there should be comma. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next mistake. Now the next mistake is over here. There should be here a comma. You know why should there be a comma over here? Because here, because from here the new clause is starting and the previous clause is ending. Now to separate these two clauses, you need to put a comma in between. There should be separation of the two clauses. So you need to put comma. So here vision, from here the first clause is ending. Now from you the new clause is starting. Now to separate these two clauses, you need to put a comma after vision. Means you need to put a comma after vision. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, if you want to shine like a sun, first burn like a sun. Now here, do you find any mistakes? I find no mistakes over here. But if you find any mistakes, please let me know in the comment box. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, without your involvement, you can't succeed. With your involvement, you can't fail. Now here T is not visible, but it is can't. You can't fail. Without your involvement, you can't succeed. With your involvement, you can't fail. I hope you got it. It's can't. Now, do you find any mistakes over here? I find 3 mistakes over here. Now, the first mistake is, like here there should be comma. You know why? Because without your involvement. This is an introductory phrase. So there should be comma. And I hope you all know that there should be comma after any introductory phrase. So here there should be comma. And here also there should be comma because this is also an introductory phrase. We should put comma after any introductory phrase, word, clause or anything. But it should be introductory. So here this is an introductory phrase. So we should put comma, and here also comma should be there, and here full stop should be there. So there are three mistakes. Now I hope you got it. So the correct sentence, or I would say the correct quote would be, without your involvement, here comma, you can't succeed. With your involvement, you can't fail, but here should be comma. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, difficulties in your life do not come to destroy you, but to help you realize your hidden potential and power. Let difficulties know that you too are difficult. Now here, do you find any mistake? I find one mistake over here, which is here, 2. Now here there should be comma, and here also there should be comma. You know why? Because whenever there is a slight pause, you should use a comma. Now here also there is a slight pause. Know that you too are difficult. So here on this and this, both of these places should be comma. 2 should be followed by comma, and before 2 also comma should be used. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. The next quote is, courage is about doing what you are afraid to do. The one who feels no fear is a fool, and the one who lets fear rule him is indeed a coward. Now just pay attention here, it's not coward, it's coward. I repeat, coward, coward. I hope you got it. Now let's move on. We must have the courage to act instead of reacting. Now here, do you find any mistakes? I find 2 mistakes. The first mistake is that here there should be full stop, and the second mistake is that there should be a comma before and. You know why? Because here, see, and is a coordinating conjunction, that too in a compound sentence. But what is a compound sentence? A compound sentence is a sentence in which there are 2 independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction, and generally the coordinating conjunction is preceded by a comma. So here this is the coordinating conjunction, and it should be preceded by a comma. I repeat, now here this and should be preceded by a comma. I hope you got it. So the correct quote would be, courage is about doing what you are afraid to do. The one who feels no fear is a fool, and the one who lets fear rule him is indeed a coward. We must have the courage to act instead of reacting. And here there should be comma. I hope you got it. Now let's move on to the next quote. Oh, all the quotes are finished. If you've liked this information, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Bye bye. See you in the next video.